So, guys, today I was listening to Dave Ramsey's show in the morning, and there was a couple that called into the show and they had a question for him. And they said that they make $600,000 a year, but they are living paycheck to paycheck. Hmm. Where does that leave some of us? Because to me, that is a lot of money to be broke. Gosh, that got me making this video today. It got me thinking, and like I've said before, it really doesn't matter how much money you make if you don't plan, if you are not intentional about how you spend your money. Even if you make $1 million a year, I think you will still struggle because we've seen with people, the more they make, the larger the lifestyle. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sharon. And in today's video, guys, I want us to talk about how do we save money on a low income, on a smaller income. Study shows that an average American household make $80,000 a year. Okay. How do we get to save, put away an emergency fund, pay all our bills, and still stay on top, without any debt? Last year, I was able to save substantially compared to previous years, and I think reasonably because I was very intentional about where my money was going. I was watching every expense. I think if you are able to track your expenses and see where each and every dime goes to, then you're in a better position to actually save money. In today's video, I am going to give you guys 3 tips that can help you save money starting today. Okay, number one is to pay yourself first. So, this analogy that I always use on my friends and family. When you get into an airplane, everybody is kind of like running around, putting, their luggage on top of the cabin, and then all of a sudden everybody is seated and it's quiet. The crew comes forward and they provide the safety instructions in case of an emergency landing or in case the airplane goes down. And they will always say, in case of anything, you need to make sure that you put on the mask, the oxygen mask, the vest on yourself before you do anybody else. Before you put it on your child, before you put on your mom and dad, whoever is traveling with you. And to me, that is the concept about money sometimes. If you don't pay yourself first, or if you don't take care of you first, who's going to do it? And so it doesn't matter if you're going to put away $50, $100, $20. You're watching me from Kenya, I would say 100 Kenya shillings, 200, 300, 500 Kenya shillings. Whatever that amount is, it's a small amount. Put it aside. If it can be withdrawn from your bank account and straight goes to savings, set it up that way. And then whatever is left is up to you now to budget. You're not going to be able to do much on your fixed income and fixed expenses. But I think when it comes to your variable expenses, grocery bills, if you have money aside for, I don't know, clothing, whatever that is, you will have to nickel and dime when it comes to that. But pay your fixed expenses after you take away something small for yourself to save. I honestly think this concept works so well because any money that is in your hands and it's not budgeted for something, Some a friend is gonna call you and say, "Hey, I need 500 Kenya shillings. Can you just give me that? Can you help me out?" And what happens is you're just gonna have to give it up because it was right on your hand, right? And if you're a Christian and you tithe, I am not saying that you don't put God first. You still need to do that. Number two tip on how to start saving today is to cut back on that grocery bill. Guys, if you were to give me an option to be the one paying rent or the mortgage or do take care of the household expenses, the food and, everything else that we use in the house, toiletries, you know, um, paper towels, all of that, I would be the one paying the rent or the mortgage anytime because I think grocery bill is one of the highest bills that I have in my house. Honestly, if you're not careful, not that I'm saying that it is, but it can be if you're not careful. Things like eating out, not really planning your meals and you just buy as you go. I'm telling you, that is the worst mistake ever. I think if you want to start saving money today, you really, really need to pay attention to your grocery bill and find ways that um, you can budget, you can meal prep, you can change your diet so that it's easier and it's cheaper for your family. Growing up, I grew up in a village in Africa, and I remember us eating almost one type of food almost every day, and it was like that for everybody. There was nothing like, oh, what are we supposed to eat tomorrow? Rice, beans, or rice and meat. Like there was nothing like that. It was simple. You either have ugali and collard greens, we call it skuma wiki, or you had um, you know, once a week or twice a week you could have meat there, but the food was constant. And you know what? When I think about it, I'm like, what happened? What changed? My grandmother, she is over 100 years old and still eats the same food all the time. And so I feel like we've just kind of like punished ourselves and have this, lifestyle where we have to have different foods all the time. For me and my family, when we are on a no spend month, oh, we are on rice and beans. I'm not even gonna lie. We are on rice and beans for some time, you know, and that helps us get into a goal that we want to achieve. And so I would challenge you to look at your grocery bill. If you're still buying paper towels, I stopped buying the whole of last year. I never used a paper towel in my house. I found this cleaning, you could think it's very hard, but it is the most efficient cleaner ever. And you can use one for even 2 months before you can throw it away. I mean, I'm telling you, I am looking for anything that could save me money. This box came with like 12. I think I still have some left for the entire of this year. So I'm not buying any paper towels. So if you can find things that you can stop buying, that is going to save you money. Again, I think your grocery bill is a variable expense that you can choose for yourself what amount you're going to spend on. If a monthly budget for you is $100, and if you want the $100 to work, you will make it work. Okay. If you said that your budget for the month is $200 and that is what you said, I think if you be intentional about it, you plan, you meal prep, you are going to achieve that. But and then if you decide, okay, all for free, everything really depends on how you plan and how you're intentional about it. I think if you just start to find ways, you will realize that you can get back so much on your grocery bill. And then number three is utilities. Guys, there are things that I have stopped doing to save just on energy because in the wintertime, Oh my gosh, here in Colorado, it is so cold. Like you cannot live without heat right in the house. But how can we save on that to just make sure like we're not paying like $400 a month for um, for the energy bill? So personally, there are things that I follow the Excel Energy. Excel Energy is the company that is an energy provider, and they give us tips here and there. Oh, like don't run your appliances, your big appliances between this time and this time. So, for example, in my household, we only do laundry at night to save on energy. I cook most of my meals on the weekends. I meal prep so that I don't have to use most of the time. I don't have to use the stove during the week. And especially if I'm baking, I want to make sure if my oven is on, I am making the most out of it. So I will make sure I bake larger meals that are going to last a couple of days than to have your oven on every time of the week, anytime that you need to make food. So I maximize. If I have my oven on, I make sure I make larger meals so I can save on energy. And probably the following week, we are just doing quick hitting meals here and there, and it's not a lot of energy. There is a lot of tips that are actually out there, and especially your energy providers nowadays are very, very good at providing tips on how you can save on your bill. Do not pass them. Please pay attention to that because it is so true. Like if you run your laundry between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., guarantee you expect that huge bill. My kids have duties like what I have one child that is responsible for making sure before we leave the house in the morning that all the lights are switched off. I make sure my thermostat, like before I leave the house, because nobody's in the house, I don't have to put it at 70 if nobody's in the house. Why should I do that? So little things here and there when it comes to your energy bill could save you money. You might not even think that it actually does, but I'm just telling you, try them for yourself. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please consider to subscribe. Please like the video. It is just one simple way of supporting us and helping us with the algorithm. And until then, guys, be intentional. Let that be your goal for 2025. Peace.